All right. So welcome everyone. Good morning. This is our total body tune-up class. With this class, I am Coach Julio. You can call me Julio, Coach Jimenez, Coach Julio. I'm fine with either name. You will find all the information from this class, or at least contact information on the front page. So the way this class works is we will be meeting every Monday for the next 8 weeks at 9 a.m. And our class sessions usually go about maybe between an hour to an hour 15, just depending on our energy level, how we're feeling. And as far as equipment for this class, I would recommend, from now until we're done, a yoga mat, a chair. If you have some dumbbells will definitely help. Water, of course, so we don't want to be dehydrated. And yeah, so just some things to expect. I will definitely for workouts, I will be giving you an example of what the workout looks like. I will also let you know how long of a duration our workout will be lasting. If it's something for time, I'll tell you that it's for 30 seconds or 40 seconds or 50 seconds. But if I tell you that we're going for 40 seconds and if at 20 seconds you're feeling a little bit tired or like you need a break, then don't feel obligated to go all the 40. I want you to feel great. So you will be, yeah, just listen to your body. I would also, if there's any movements that cause pain or just kind of feels odd and you don't like that movement, then you could just skip it and you could just wait for the next movement before we continue. We definitely don't want to get injured. Um, so if you feel like you had poor sleep, something is aching before your workout even starts, maybe what I would recommend personally would be to maybe just watch the workout while you're here, so you have an idea what the workout's going to look like, and then maybe the following day or a couple of days later when your body's feeling better, maybe watch the recording of the session. So again, we avoid any injuries. So that's the one thing we don't want with this class to happen, or any of the classes, is to go in the wrong direction. We're trying to get our goals, get healthier. We all have different goals, but getting healthy is the number one. If it's getting stronger or losing weight or just improving your cardio, you'll benefit from all of that in this class, but we don't want to get injured or have setbacks. Okay, so listen to your body, use proper form. You don't have to turn on your camera, but if you want to turn on your camera, then I'm able to correct your form. If your camera's off, I have no idea what your form looks like. So that's the benefit about having your camera on. But other than that, I think I kind of set it off. There'll be some modules on Canvas of some articles or videos that I like to share here and there. So just, if you see them pop off, you could go ahead and, read through them, watch them. But yeah, but mainly our grade is going to be based on your attendance and how active you are within Canvas. So what I recommend is at least once a week, log into the session. If you can make the 9 a.m. session, then let's go ahead and watch the recording at some point. And yeah, we'll just kind of go like that the next 8 weeks. And if you happen to be on my Wednesday class, that starts this Wednesday, Wednesday's class is going to be a little bit more relaxed. That's going to be more stretching. So just keep that in mind. Our Monday class is going to be our more active class. So any questions before we start? Okay, so I just want to make sure that we don't go into the class wondering what's going on. So yeah, that's about all the information I have for you all. So with this being our first session, again, this is total body workout. So not tune up, so body total body workout. So we're gonna be doing cardio, we're gonna be doing core, we're gonna be doing weights, we're gonna be doing a little bit of like balance as well. So just a full total body workout. So what I have for today is usually we'll do 2 rounds of one exercise. Today I'm just gonna have a lot more exercises and we're just gonna do 1 round. So if it is your first time with me, you'll get to see a lot of the movements that we'll be doing. So we'll start off with the first half of the class. with exercises that are going to be for cardio and your core. And then we'll do one round of each. And then once we're done with that, we'll transition to more weights. So if you have some dumbbells nearby, those will be handy for today. And if you don't have them, then maybe within the next week, if you could get some just so you don't fall behind for upcoming sessions. So very good. All right, let's go ahead and we'll begin with our stretches. Okay, so here we go. So we start with our warm up. So let's look left to right. Usually our warm up will take somewhere between 5 to 8 minutes. And that's going to be about the most I talk before we actually start warming up. So the next 7 weeks, you won't get all that information. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. If you're with me in the summer, nice to have you back. I'm currently in Mammoth, California, up and down, right? About 8,000 feet of elevation. So if you see me or hear me breathing a little bit more than usual, that is why. Because it's a little harder to breathe up here, especially when you're working out. So just looking up and down. Neck circles. I also forgot my pillow at home. So I've been having neck tightness the last couple of days. I can't find a pillow that my neck likes, so this stretch feels good. Switch. Next week I'll be back in the garage.
How's the weather out there?
It's awesome. It's great. I think the high we've got here on Friday and we're leaving again this coming Friday. And since we've been here, I think the highest it's maybe like 76, 77. Let's go ahead and do our snow angels. So yeah, nothing crazy. Last night we went to the top of um, the mountain overlooking the Minaret Vista Point, and we were stargazing up there for about 30 minutes around 9 p.m. And yeah, it was probably I'd say like in the low 50s at 9 p.m. A little windy, but not too crazy. Let's bring that right arm across. But it was very neat. I'll see if I could post a picture, but I was able to take a very nice picture of the Milky Way last night. So, let's switch. Yeah, so yesterday I ran 4 miles on Friday. I ran four more on Saturday. What's today? Yeah, I lose the track of days here. And then yesterday I ran 10 miles. Um, and later I'm running four, but my body's feeling just yesterday's run. Let's bring our arm back. And this being our first session, it's gonna be a little bit more relaxed than usual. So we'll still burn, I'm pretty sure, about 200 calories at least. And that's the neat part about these classes. We not only get stronger and flexible, but we tend to burn most of the time between, I say 250 and 350 calories. Let's switch. One of my athletes just messaged me if he could go to the gym down the street from here, but it's $15 per visit. Um, so yeah, I think most of my athletes are on a budget, so I might just have one of them go out there. I forgot my dumbbells this year, so I forgot so many things. I forgot a towel, my pillow, my dumbbells, my sandals. So yeah, let's do our trunk rotation,
Julio, you need to join the seniors and make a checklist for every
right?
every type of trip.
I it's I don't know. I brought some things that I could go without, and then some of the things that I definitely need, I didn't bring. And I only remember my laptop, which you're viewing me through, because I made it a point to leave my laptop on top of my suitcase. Otherwise, I think I would have forgotten my laptop too. So left to right. All right, let's do our ab circles. So again, just back is straight, hinge at the hip, come back. Yeah, tomorrow we're gonna go to Yosemite. We're doing a run anywhere between 6 to 10 miles at 10,000 feet of elevation. It's at the entryway or the gateway to Yosemite on the eastern side of the Sierra Nevadas. And then we're gonna drive into Yosemite, maybe about 30 minutes from the gateway, and have like a little beach day at one of the lakes up here, or up there. Let's go hip circles. Big hula hoops, and just exaggerate the movement of your hips. It's far wide. But yeah, it was about a 6.5 hour drive with we're a group of about 28. It's about 28 of us. So, switch. Someone has to go to the bathroom about every 30 minutes. So, yeah, it took us close to 7 hours. We left at around 8 in the morning, stopped for lunch in Lone Pine, uh, did a run in Convict Lake, and then we got here to the condos around 4:30, no, like 5 p.m. Right, let's do our quad stretch. Grab a hold of your right ankle and pull back. Missed all of you in 2 weeks without you. I think our biggest break might be between this fall and the spring. So I think we're done in the fall, like the second Wednesday of the month of December, and we don't meet again until maybe the first Monday switch of January. So we go maybe about 3 weeks. I believe that's the longest break we have.
Yeah, I could tell the difference.
Yeah. So I usually I know, and especially because we're going 6 days in the summer, I could tell the difference on my hips already. It took about maybe like 10 days, and I noticed my hips just need a little bit more warming up to do. Because yeah, I usually don't do like an hour session of just stretching. And during the summer, we were doing on Wednesdays and Saturdays, so I gotta squeeze it in there somewhere. All right, let's go hamstring stretch. So slide your hands down your shins all the way down. You can have a slight bend at the knees. Grab a hold of your ankles and drop your hips and your glutes down to your heels. Then back up. Let's do 5 of these. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Very good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do our last stretch of our warm-up, which is our deep squat. So just get in a wide stance, a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, and then just drop your hips as low as you can. If you have tight hips, we might be this low, but if you could drop them a little bit lower, great. We'll get better at this as the more we do it. So stretching left to right. So yeah, just to warm up alone right now, we burn about 30 calories. So and rise. All right, very good. So as I mentioned, um, this will be kind of like our run through of a lot of exercises and movements that we will be doing over the next 8 weeks. And there will be a combinations of some of these workouts. I'm already out of breath. So just this altitude. So like I said, the first session, I know we might have some folks that this is their first time working out with me. So if you don't have the equipment like dumbbells, then at least you do the body weight stuff that we're about to start. So let's go ahead and begin. So, all right, so we're gonna start off. Our first exercises are gonna be some easier ones, and the more advanced we get, they'll be later into the workout. Okay, so these are gonna be some easy ones. And for this being our first session, we'll start off with 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And as we get more fit, we'll progress into 40 seconds, then 50 seconds. And then maybe like the last 2 weeks of the 8-week term, we'll do close to a minute. Okay. So, all right, let's go ahead and begin. This is going to be our cross high knees. So we're going to go for a minute to just right here. Okay, just exaggerate. I don't want you to do too much of like your hips. You see my hips are turning here. So try to keep your hips facing the camera, and most of the lateral movement or the crossing is happening at the knees. Okay, so we're not twisting our hips. Our hips are just kind of staying straight. We're just gonna go with 30 seconds. We're gonna do one round out of all of these movements. Okay, so every movement we're doing today, we're just gonna do it once. You get a little taste of what exercises we'll be doing. 3, 2, 1, time. Okay, that's a light cardio movement that feels also like a stretch. We'll take about 20 seconds rest in between. Our next one is going to be our side step jack. So again, just almost like step to the right, come down, step to the left, back, okay? So if you're active, you could go a little quicker. Ready, okay, go. So just constant movement. Since we're doing one round of everything, we'll probably just go as far as rest. We'll go about 20 seconds in between exercises. And each exercise is set in a group of 3 exercises called a set. So after each set, we'll take a little bit more rest. 3, 2, 1, time. Oof. This altitude's no joke. All right, we're gonna go on the floor. We're gonna do a reverse crunch. So we're here on the floor in a reverse crunch. Hands to your side, and you just bring your knees towards your chest, okay? All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So if you start here, and this is the most we could get, then go ahead and do that. We'll sure working out our hip joints. But if you could elevate your glutes off the ground, then we're using our abdominals a little bit more. 12 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and time. All right, that's our first set. Okay, like I said, every set is 3 exercises. So we're gonna go ahead and go into our second set. Second set is gonna be heels to opposite glute. That's the first one. We're gonna go with the side pulls. So side pulls is just a quick lunge right here, just constantly moving. And then we're gonna do a high plank. So almost like if you're doing a push-up, but you're just holding yourself up. And again, that's working out your core. Okay, we'll start in 10 seconds. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. So hammies to glutes. So just quick right here. And again, there's no movement happening at my hip joint. Everything is just my heel is going to my opposite glute. Okay. If you want more range of motion, you could go wider step. Or you could just go quick. I feel like I'm gonna pass out if I keep this up. So I'm gonna slow it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Okay. Side pulses in 15 seconds. Yeah, it's funny seeing what some of my runners eat if if they're independent on their own. I see a lot of Pop-Tarts and a lot of Hot Pockets. Ready? Okay, go. So quick side pulls. We're just alternating. Remember, 30 seconds of this. Halfway there. You don't have to go all the way down. These are just quick. So it's more of a cardio movement and a strength movement. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. All right, we got that high plank next. Remember, just that push-up position. You could be on your knees and on your hands, or if you are able to support yourself, elevate your knees, okay? We'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So again, we're not doing any movement, just a plank. Just hold it here. We'll take a little water break after this one. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, time. All right, we're gonna take 1 minute. Okay, so gather yourself, catch your breath. Okay, we're gonna go with high knee progression. So we're gonna go with the march, and then into a skip, and then into a run. Okay, so 10 seconds for each of those. Then we're gonna go running in place. And if you can, try to bring your heels to your glutes. Okay, if you have good range of motion. And then we're gonna do standing waist pincher. So 20 seconds, bring that elbow to your hip joint, and then we'll switch to the other side. Okay, here we go. High knee progression. 3, 2, 1. Okay, go. So again, 10 seconds here. Now skip. And now run. So bring those knees up. And time. Catch your breath. Okay, we're running in place next. Remember, we're running in place, so you could just be right here, or if you want to do a little bit more, then bring your heels up. Out of breath. 3, 2, 1, go. Twelve more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Standing waist pincher. So standing here, hands on your head, right elbow meets your right hip joint. Okay, so tuck that in that little crease and just continue that movement for 20 seconds. Ready? Okay, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll just do a count of 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. Reset. Left side switch. Okay, go. 1, 2. Ooh, this side's a little tighter. 3. It's more challenging to tuck it in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh, good stuff. 1 minute break. My mouth is so dry right now. It's altitude. Okay. Next movements. These are a little bit, again, the further we go into the workout, they get a little bit more advanced. We have jumping jacks. No jumping jacks. Inchworms. You're standing. You crawl into a hand plank. Then you come back. That's an inchworm. And then Russian twist, I'll explain when we're on the floor. So again, 30 seconds of each one. 3, 2, 1, go. 30 seconds of jumping jacks. Twelve more seconds. Job, folks. Everyone's being shy. No one has their camera on. 3, 2, 1. Time. Woo. Inchworms in 20 seconds. Everyone okay? Thumbs up. Thumbs down if we're tired. 5, 4, 3. Good. 2, 1. Inchworms. Here we go. Crawl out into a plank. Come back. Halfway there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Russian twist. We're on the floor. Remember, we're here. Elbows come behind our back. If you're more advanced, elevate your heels and do the same motion. Okay? 30 seconds. We'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Elbows behind the back. Good job. 100 calories right now. Halfway there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Very good. 1 minute rest. Okay. This one's just going to be 2 exercises. Okay. We have mountain climbers. So we're here, push-up position or high plank, and then you're going to bring your knees up. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead, get on our backs for a second movement. Hands on your lap and slide your knees. Sorry, slide your hands towards your knees. Okay. Very good. You still have 20 seconds. Okay. So let's go ahead. Here we go. All right, mountain climbers, 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. Halfway there. Just keep moving. 20 seconds, 10 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Roll onto your back. Good job, everyone. Nice turnout for our first day. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Up. Slide your hands up, down, up, up. Very good. I'm gonna go for 40 seconds. If anyone wants to go with me, we're at 20 seconds right now. Okay, we're at 30 seconds. We're going 40. Let's go 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Awesome work. Moving on. Okay, we're doing well with time. We have 2 more sets of our cardio and core session, and then we're gonna transition to our dumbbell movements, okay? So we're almost done. We have about maybe 6 more of these movements, cardio and core. Okay, here we go. So it's gonna be first movement, pop squats. All right, that's gonna be a great strength movement. Then we're gonna go with reverse lunge kick. So 20 seconds on each leg for that. And then we're gonna go ahead and do flutter kicks. So flutter kicks, we're here and we're just going our legs up and down. You could keep your hands back here for support. All right, pop squats. 3, 2, 1, go. See, I got this. I don't have to go to the gym and pay $15. I think I'm getting my workout with this today. 10 more seconds. Let's go, Teresa, Karen, Debbie, Jen. 3, 2, 1. Time. Whew. Reverse lunge kick. We'll start in 20 seconds. Good job, Ella, Miss Noor, Kathleen, Miss Wayne, Carmen, Mr. Ahmed, Josefina, Ramon. Tired just saying your names. All right, let's go right leg first. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. 20 seconds. So reverse lunge, kick, lunge, kick, kick. We're at 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're gonna switch sides. Left side now. 3, 2, 1, go. Ten more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Woo! Flutter kicks on the floor. I'll ask you folks how you feel in a minute. 3, 2, 1, go. Just legs go up and down. If that gets tiring, just hold your legs up. Keep them off the floor. But I find that when you move them, it's a little bit easier actually. 12 more seconds. You could also crisscross over under. 3, 2, 1, time. Very good. All right. Is anyone completely tired? Just this first day back is a little bit much. We have 3 movements. Okay, so power jacks. So squat, power jack, jumping jack combination. Then we have our hip rolls. So on our elbows, and we're rolling our hips side to side while we're holding a plank. And then Supermans, which are it's going to be great for our core and our lower back. Belly down, chest up, feet up. Okay. Here we go. At 145 calories. Pretty good. Power jacks. 3, 2, 1, go. 15 more seconds. Just keep moving. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Next two are on the floor. 15 seconds. So remember, we're on our elbows for a plank, and we're gonna roll our hips side to side. Here we go. Ready? Okay, go. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Supermans, belly down. Ready? Chest up. Okay, go. Legs up, chest up. 30 seconds. Ten seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. All right, bring your glutes to your heels. Let's get a little stretch. All right, we'll do a 2-minute transition to our dumbbells. So if you have your dumbbells, now's a good time to go get them. We're at 160 calories, okay? 160 calories. And yeah, now we're gonna transition to our strength session, okay, or strength portion. Starting next week, we'll have everything intertwined, okay? So it's not gonna be just cardio and core first and then separate. It's gonna be all intertwined. Another minute. You're gonna have to excuse me for being forgetful, but I'm gonna use paper towels as our dumbbells today for myself, okay? So if it looks too easy, it's because these only weigh like 5 ounces each. Those are my dumbbells for today. No one laugh at me. All right. Very good. So for this round, I'm sorry?
Can I take a picture?
No. Sure. You can. Right here. I'm gonna. Yeah. It's gonna be my new profile picture. So we're gonna have one, two, three rounds. Okay. So 12 exercises, 12 to 15 exercises, but we're gonna do each movement just once. Okay. So we're doing well. 166 calories. All right. Our first one's gonna be our standing neutral shoulder press. Okay, so again, neutral, this would be our traditional one. Sorry, but the glare, you can't see these, but neutral would be more front and pressing up. Okay, we're doing 12 of these. Ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. So now it's for a count. We're not going for time. And most of the repetitions that we're gonna do when it comes to weights is gonna be between 10 and 15. Okay. You just want to make sure that when you finish at 10, that your arms are a little bit tired or your shoulders are, or if you're at 15 that they're a little bit tired. But if you finish at 10 and it feels like you didn't work very much, then it's time to go to 15, or it's time to go ahead and upgrade your weights to something heavier. But you do want to finish your set a little bit fatigued. Otherwise, we're not going to see very much progress. 3 more. 2, 1, and time. Extra credit. Yeah. Even though this is really light, I haven't done some of these lifts in a while. So just the range of motion movement does fatigue me. All right, so let's go ahead, move on. Now we have dumbbell reverse curls. Okay, dumbbell reverse curls, that means we're gripping the dumbbells here. Our palms are facing behind us, and then we're gonna curl up here. Okay. Let's go ahead and begin. Let's do 10 to 12 of these. Ready, begin. So 1, 2. This is working out our triceps and our forearms. A little bit of our biceps too, but lots of triceps and forearms. 5, 6, 7, 8. This isn't a bad intro weight either, the paper towels. 9. Gonna go for 12, 10, 11, and 12. Like if someone injured their arm or their forearm, they want to start back up with like physical therapy, that's actually not bad. It might be a little bit wide, but the weight, I think it's appropriate. Okay, we have dumbbell bent over rows. Okay, dumbbell bent over rows. Remember, we're here. We're gonna hinge at your hips. So that means bend at your hips. Your back is nice and straight. We're here. And then you're gonna bring the elbows up and then down. Okay. If you could bend a little bit more, even better. Ready? Give me 12 to 15. Okay, go. Come all the way up and then full extension all the way down. So inhale, exhale. Inhale on your way up, exhale on your way down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'll put my heavy weights off to the side. Okay. All right. Okay. Our next one is gonna be, we have sit-ups here. Okay, so instead of sit-ups, since we did some core already, we're gonna do opposite cross toe taps. So this is a little bit more range of motion for our whole body. So we're gonna go opposite hand to opposite foot. So just right here, back. Okay, we're gonna do a total of 20, so 10 on each side. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Good. Okay, we're done with our first set of 3 sets. Okay, so grab a little bit of water. This next set is gonna be 5 movements. Okay. So we're still using our dumbbells and we'll be on the floor to finish off this set with some side planks. Yeah, I just got a text from one of the boys in our condo, and it was a group text, and he was asking if anyone wants the dino nuggets. They're like chicken nuggets that are shaped like dinosaurs. So yeah, so that's some of what these boys are eating. I try to encourage them to, venture off to like more healthier options, but they go with what's convenient. So that's what they're eating right now. All right, dumbbell underhand front raises. Okay, dumbbells are here, palms are facing the screen, and then we go from the outside in. Okay, that's for your chest and your shoulders and your arms. Ready? 192 calories so far. Okay, go. So 10 to 12, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Awesome. Very good. Okay. Give me 1 second. I thought these boys were back. Not back yet. All right, our next one's gonna be a Romanian deadlift. This is a lift that targets your hamstrings and your glutes, okay? So we have 2 variations where we do single leg and then one that we do both legs, okay? So if you're a little bit more advanced, you could do the single leg. Give me 8 on each leg. But since it is our first day, and we have some new folks, I'll do the regular version. So for this one, feet are close together. You have a slight bend at the knees. You're gonna keep your back nice and straight and your dumbbells towards the side of your lower leg. And then you're just gonna come down slowly and then come back up. Okay, so it should take you about 3 to 4 seconds to go down, and then another 3 to 4 seconds to come back up. Okay, so it's a slow movement. So give me 15. And again, if you're doing single leg, give me 8 and 8. 8 on each leg. So again, these paper towels weigh a few ounces. And this is still giving me a nice stretch right now. So remember, slight bend at the knees, hinge at the hip. About halfway through. About 5 more. We hit our goal. We're at 203 calories. Got 3 more. Last one. Awesome. 204 calories. Okay, cool. This is one of my new favorite ones. It's the dumbbell Poliquin lateral raise. Works out your arms, your forearms, your shoulders. Okay, so we're doing 8 of these dumbbells here at your side. We're gonna do a hammer curl, rotate the elbows out, and then extend the dumbbells out, and then we reset. So that's 1, okay? So a hammer curl, lateral raise, and extension. 2. 3. We're doing 8 to 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, and 10. Very good. Okay. All right. Next one is our tricep kickbacks that just targets the triceps here. So for this one, if you don't have dumbbells, what you could always do is you could always do oh, here we go, a dip using your couch or a chair. So again, a dip would be right here. That still targets the triceps. But if you have dumbbells, we'll do our extensions. So for this one, we're gonna go with 10. So again, we are gonna be here, elbows at your side, and then all you're doing is extending. So the only movement's happening from my wrist to my elbows, okay?
Cuidado con las pesas, que no se te quebren, Julio.
No, they're getting tired. Well, I'm trying to make them look heavy. So 6, 7, 8. We'll go for 10 to 12. 9. Keep your back straight. 10. And please keep looking down. You don't want to look around. That's how you hurt your neck. One more. And reset. Good work. All right. Told these boys they could come back at 10 o'clock. It's 9:54, so hopefully they're taking their time. Okay, we're gonna do side planks. We're gonna do 20 seconds on each side. Remember, for our side plank, we're gonna be on our elbow, and then you could raise at your knee, or if you're a little bit more advanced, your elbow and your ankle. So you're here. Okay, 3, 2, 1, up 20 seconds. After 20 seconds, we're gonna switch to our other side. 220 calories. Not bad. Yeah, it was definitely a lot harder to do the cardio and core exercises because of the heart rate. And time. All right, switch sides. Just the air's a little thinner here, so your red blood cells don't absorb the oxygen as much. 3, 2, 1, up. I always hear people say that it's there's less oxygen up here, and that's not true. It's just the change of pressure from this altitude to sea level. So it's easier for your red blood cells to absorb oxygen at sea level than it is here. So that's why it's challenging sometimes. 3, 2, 1, time. Yeah, I've had a few of my runners with some mild headaches during this trip. So, okay, we already did Russian twist. So we only have 3 movements left. We have push-ups, glute bridges, and then we have donkey kicks. Okay, so we have push-ups for our chest, glute bridges for our glutes and our hamstrings, and donkey kicks for our glutes as well. Okay, so with push-ups, let's go ahead and do anywhere between 10 to 12. So we don't need any dumbbells on this one unless you want to use them to have some resistance on your glute bridges. You could set them on your hip. All right, ready? Push-ups 10 to 12. You can do knee assisted or traditional push-ups. 3, 2, 1, go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Right. Very good. glute bridges. Glute bridges are next. We are on our backs. We're gonna do 15. So remember, you're like here like a sit-up. Hips come up, squeeze the glutes, then back down. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Up. So squeeze. Down. Squeeze for about 2 to 3 seconds before you come back down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. And 10. Very good. Going into our last one. This one's gonna be donkey kicks. So for this one, we're gonna do 8 on each leg. This one, we're gonna get in our quadruped position. Anytime you hear me say quadruped, it's usually on your fours, your wrists right below your shoulders, your knees right below your hips. So for the donkey kick, we're gonna go ahead and we'll go with the left leg first. From here, up towards the ceiling, and then down, okay? 8 of those. Ready? Okay, go. Try to keep your head down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ready? Switch. Okay, go. Right leg now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Awesome work. I got 237 calories. Good job, everyone. So I'll bypass the cool down right now, but if you do want to stretch, only because I know these boys are about to come rushing through that door. But if you guys do want to do a cool down, let's do a little bit of stretching or go for a walk around your block. But before we leave, do we have any questions? How's everyone's workout?
Exercise ring close.
I want to know how you did that at 8,000 feet, Julio. I could not do that.
This is how.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is how. No, I'm not gonna lie, the cardio part,
Oh,
yeah, I
gosh,
struggled,
yeah.
the cardio got me, but
Well,
yeah,
thumbs up for you.
but Wednesday will be light, and then next week I'll be back home, and I think we'll have our full routine on where we do multiple sets of exercises. But I know we have some few new folks, so I wanted to give you a little preview of what to expect. But yeah, other than that, I think that's all I got for now. But
Don't
more-
think that you went easy today, okay? It was
Yeah,
on
it was-
paper it looked
was not
easy.
easy.
On paper it looked easy, and I even like put it on the what was it on the notifications. Did you folks receive that email
which one?
or the notifications from Canvas like tomorrow's our first day or see you at 9 a.m.
Yes, I received.
Okay, so I wonder how that works. Maybe it goes to like spam or junk for some folks or yeah.
I
Okay.
received it.
Okay, Carmen got it. Yeah, I'm seeing some other faces that say
I
otherwise.
didn't look. I'll go back and
I
look.
don't
Okay,
receive
yeah,
it.
if
Showed
you
up.
don't, yeah, I mean you're here, so you're fine. But yeah, if you could just check if you got it. But yeah, on it I put, for the newbies, like this is gonna be an easy workout. So yeah, little did I know. Altitude.
you, bye.
So
Thank
all right,
you.
everyone. See
See
you
you
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Take care.
Good
Bye-bye.
job. Bye,
Thank you.
folks.